Hi, in this lecture we'll continue to explore rules and best practices that will help you improve your font choices. A very popular approach is to combine multiple fonts in one project. Here's what you should know about it. Mixing typefaces is fine as long as you limit yourself to a maximum of 3. I'd say 2 is a better choice, but if you're working on a particularly large project, that may not be enough. When you're mixing fonts, it's best you stay away from similar-looking ones. Most readers can't pick up on subtle differences, so when you're using something like this, it will most likely be interpreted as a mistake. Not to mention that it doesn't look particularly good, it feels like something is off, though you can't put your finger on it. Your typeface transmits a feeling. We already covered that in the previous lecture. By sending mixed signals, you're not doing yourself a favour. So here's what you need to do when you want to combine 2 typefaces. Make them as different as possible. Choose typefaces that have a distinguishing personality. Here are a few examples on your screen. This one, for example, features a condensed font coupled with a handwritten one. This is what you're looking for. Some best practices are the following. Combine fonts from different categories. Serif with sans-serif, calligraphy with sans-serif, and so on. Use different sizes too. This also helps differentiate them on a visual level. It also ties into the fact that some fonts are best used in larger sizes. Use various colours whenever possible. This is how you make your type stand out from the crowd. Implement these changes and you'll see your work will improve considerably. Speaking of size, type hierarchy is essential. I'm sure you may have heard of H1, H2, H3 if you've ever dealt with web design. That simply refers to headline 1, headline 2, and so on. That's a particular format that you apply to your text. The goal is to highlight the importance level of each section. Between these layers, which one do you think is more important? The bigger one, of course. This helps structure your file, be it a document or a poster, because it helps guide the user's sight to the most essential parts. That's how we read a magazine. We initially scan it and we analyse each particular section. If its headline is interesting, then we might read it. This hierarchy must be reflected in your project. It should be clear who's boss and who's the sidekick. That's why headlines are always bigger than paragraphs of text. They have completely different roles in a project, so your font formatting should reflect that. One thing you may have noticed is that I've constantly interchanged the terms font and typeface. In essence, it's acceptable to do so, but if you want to be more accurate, a typeface is a family of fonts that has various weights and styles. Some examples are light, italic, regular, semi-bold, etc. Those variations are fonts. So when you hear people say, "I love Open Sans," most likely they're referring to the entire typeface with all its styles. When they say Open Sans Light set at 30 pixels is lovely, then they're talking about a specific font. So it's a subtle difference, but unless you interact with typography lovers, it's acceptable to interchange them. If you want to remember this difference, you can think of the Johnson family. Johnson is the family name, as Open Sans is the typeface's name. Inside this family, you have Billy and Paula. Those are part of the Johnson family, but when you want to talk to them, you use their specific names, Billy and Paula. Nobody says, "Hey you, Johnsons, come over here." Though that would be correct, it's not specific nor very nice. In our case, Open Sans Light can be associated with Billy, so an individual with distinct characteristics that's part of a family. Okay, and with that, we've concluded this lecture. Hopefully, all these tips and best practices will help you make better choices for your projects.